It's just as simple as if they don't click, they don't watch.
The audience can perceive how much work is going into your videos.
There are no free tools. Now, there's a lot of tools I didn't pay cash for. And sometimes that can be more valuable than cash because I could just buy a tool and there's no expectations.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Creators Uncut. Again, super excited for another episode. Today we have a special guest. His name is Drew Witt and his channel is Wittworks. And I actually work with Drew just a little bit. I help edit some of his videos. So Drew, thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Great introduction. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and then a little bit about your channel.
Man, I've always been kind of a creative person and a maker. One of my first memories is as a kid was seeing a billboard on the side of the road and going home and getting my crayons and recreating it, like drawing it out. And I don't know, I've always just had this natural instinct to take things and put them together and make something else. When I was in high school, I went to a math science school. So we had computers. Every kid had a computer. This is mid 90s before, like at other schools, teachers didn't even have computers, but we all had Mac G2s or something.
Oh, wow.
And we had Photoshop. And I learned Photoshop when I was 16 at a high school. I started editing videos and I was a musician. I was in band. And I've always just kind of been like, oh, I know I can use the computer to make graphic design or record music or do things like that, edit videos. And so in the pandemic, I've always been a woodworker, but in the pandemic, I started videoing some of my projects so I could share them with people. I learned what YouTube was. I'd never really paid attention to YouTube outside of, Googling how to change a spark plug in my car or something. But I didn't know YouTube existed as kind of an entertainment platform, kind of like an open source Netflix. I didn't know there were people who had channels or made a living doing that or anything. So I think that was probably one of the bright spots of the pandemic, was showing me, man, there's this creator economy and maybe I could do it. And so, I've been doing that since February of 2021. So however many years that is. I didn't think it would work, but probably at the latter half of 22, things started to click. I learned what the platform wants and things started working, and here we are.
That's awesome. I'm actually surprised about how many creators kind of started their channel during the pandemic. I guess everyone was kind of doing the same thing because it was pretty lonely and what else is there to do,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I wish I would have started. I had people telling me to do this back in 2013, 2014. And I thought, why would I do all this hard work to show people how I make furniture? Like why would you give the answers away to the test? And all those people who started at that time, they have like 3 million subscribers, Jimmy DiResta, or I like to make stuff. So I had the opportunity to start back in, 2013, 2014, 2015.
The early days.
And I didn't have the vision for it. I was kind of burnt out from making videos at that point. I'd made hundreds of videos. I wasn't doing any videos at that time. So it wasn't appealing to me.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So was the pandemic like the trigger that got you to create a channel, or was there someone else that was like, that came back to you and was like, hey, you should make videos?
Yeah. Well, the thing I learned about the pandemic was I've always been told to get a degree, work hard, get a job, keep that job, and have job security. And what I realized in the pandemic was the thing I actually wanted was not job security, but income security. And there's a difference. And my job, I was a pastor, and basically COVID destroyed our church. And we had very, very tight restrictions where we lived. So we went, we didn't meet in person for over a year. And by the time we were able to get back in person, we had lost 80% of our people. And
Oh,
at that point, we were all burned out and tired from trying to trying to keep up with every week something new happens. So I was really like, I want to do something that doesn't involve me clocking in and clocking out. I want to divorce my time from my income. Like I still want to work, but I don't want to work. I don't want to like clock in and get $10 an hour or clock out. Like I want to create assets that will work for me whenever um, someone asks me to do a podcast, and I can step away and do it. I can still make money while I'm doing that. So
yeah.
that was really the kind of in COVID, the impetus of kind of taking my revenue into my own hands, being an entrepreneur, and mostly trying to make things that will make me money long term and over time without me having to clock in or clock out, so to speak.
Hmm. Is that when you started your business with selling like uh, templates and products for tools? Is that when you started that, or do you start your YouTube channel first before that?
That the product business came after, so I quickly
Mm.
realized that the most successful creators and long-lasting creators had a business behind their YouTube channel, and that their YouTube channel basically acted as the top of a funnel to the thing they were doing.
Mm.
Now we see it with Mr. Beast or Mark Rober and Dude Perfect and all these other creators. And now it's like the common thing. But at the time, I knew YouTube was so volatile that you couldn't really depend on AdSense. Again, I didn't like to depend on an algorithm. Like they could change the algorithm, and overnight my income could go away or it'd be
Yeah.
reduced. I needed a way to make money that was more like predictable, or that I had more control of the inputs. So it was really interesting. I was really investing a lot of energy into affiliate marketing, which was like do a video on a tool
Hmm.
and hope people buy it. And what I noticed was I would do a video on a track saw, and I think I had maybe 50 subscribers at the time, but that video got 30,000 views.
Mm.
And so I saw there was this demand for track saws. But it wasn't until like 6 months later I looked at my Amazon analytics, and I noticed that some people bought track saws, but the majority of the things people bought were dust collection accessories for the track saws. So like a certain hose I recommended, or a
Oh.
switch that you can plug your tool and your vacuum into. So when you turn on your tool, it turns on your vacuum automatically.
Hmm.
And I just noticed people were spending money on dust collection. And so I kind of figured, oh, I have the audience that I have, they're really interested in solving the problem of sawdust in their shop and keeping it out of their lungs. So we had a friend that had a 3D printer. I don't know even know where I got the idea, but I was like, hey, could you 3D print me something that could cover up this hole in the side of the saw? And I got a guy from Fiverr in India to make me a file, and he would try to print it. And eventually I bought at the cheapest 3D printer on Amazon I could find. I think it was like $250. And I'd never carried a balance on my business bank account, on my like business credit card. Um,
Hmm.
and I had, I think, $150 in the bank in my side hustle bank account. At that time, I wasn't really. It wasn't. It was a hobby at this point.
Hmm.
And I remember by the time I got the 3D printer and filament, I figured, oh, I need to sell like 37 of these little caps on Etsy to pay off my credit card.
Hmm.
And that month we did $780 in sales on this little
Oh,
bitty
nice.
thing. And I was able to pay off the card and then buy another 3D printer. And so every month I would basically add a 3D printer, and people started asking, can you make this? Can you make this? And that just kind of expanded the offerings to now. I think we've got, I don't know, 14 or 15 3D printers that run most of the day. And now I have a full time employee who manages all that, does all the shipping, does all the customer service. So I focus on the videos. He focuses on that side. And if you send an email, it goes to him, not me. So it's been like crazy to think of, oh man, I started this with an Amazon 3D printer and I didn't have the money for,
Hmm.
and was just hoping we would sell enough. Yeah. And then I kind of fell into, oh, and if I showed this in my YouTube videos, I would get this massive influx of sales immediately.
Hmm.
Um,
Sparks interest.
yeah, and it just lets people know that you're out there. I mean, I still to this day, people like, oh, I forgot you make those, and I hate talking about them. I hate promoting myself, but it amazes me that people still like they haven't been paying attention. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I feel like I wish everyone could do that, with a YouTube channel, like find that little thing that, helps them grow and be successful. I want to dive a little bit into more on the video side. You said you're in charge of the videos and your partner's in charge of the 3D printers and stuff. Um, I remember one video I was helping you with, like it was all wrapped up and finished and you published it. And, I like to watch, my clients' videos, kind of see how they do. And every day I would kind of like look at it. And I noticed like each time I would look at it, you had changed the thumbnail and the title. And you did it like 5 or 6 times. I can't remember how many. And so I was curious, what is your thought process when it comes to like the packaging of your videos, like title and thumbnail? Like I know we all talk about like that's the most important thing, but what I guess was your thought process behind, changing and updating that?
so YouTube is a decision platform. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook force feed you videos. They just here you just scroll and they are like throwing spaghetti at the wall. But YouTube is a lot like Netflix, where you open the home screen and there's 6 images, and underneath those images is a title or headline, and you decide what you want to click on. So they don't feed you the video. They don't autoplay the videos, or they just show you, hey, here's some options.
Hmm.
It's just as simple as if they don't click, they don't watch. And YouTube is a decision platform. So really, I think it took me a long time to figure this out. Is that you're in the title, thumbnail, packaging game on YouTube? That's really where all your success lies. Because if you can't get people to be interested in this image and this text, they're not going to click on the video. When you publish a video, the way YouTube works is they will seed that video to like your core audience. So there's like 3 spheres. There's like the core, the casual, and the cold audience. People who've never heard of you. Casual would be people who sometimes watch your stuff, and then the core is people who watch everything. Well, YouTube's in the ad business. They're not going to send out your video to a bunch of random people. They're not going to click on it. They don't know who you are. So when you first release a video, they'll send it to the people who typically watch your videos. If they don't click on it and they pass, your click-through rate, your CTR goes down, and YouTube is not going to pass that video to casual or cold. Your video will die. And the only chance you have at that point is change the packaging, change the angle. And so sometimes I won't know what is really interesting to people, and then I'll get the same comments over and over and over again, the thing that stands out. Then I'll go and make a
Mm.
package based on that idea. And I've had videos that have died at 50,000 views, and then and they get no more views, they're dead. And change the title of thumbnail, and then within a month they have 500,000 views, and then they'll go on to
Wow.
do a million. And I did one like that. I did a cabinet video last year, and it died at 30 or 50,000 views. And all I did was change the image. I didn't change the title. I just put a new image up, and it's at 1.5 million.
Wow.
And it took off. And so that's really where all of the magic is on YouTube is. And now YouTube has an ABC feature, a test feature.
Hmm.
So I can upload 3 titles and 3 thumbnails, and it will test combinations and let you know which one people watched longer.
Mm.
So this you could have the same you could have a title, a thumbnail, but whatever one gets people to watch the longest, because it's like bait. It's catching the type of fish who's interested in that. YouTube will then pick that. So sometimes if you see like a lots of random, I'm actually not changing it. It's YouTube's running the
Mm,
test, and it's seeing what every time you look at a video, it's going to change it to see will you click on it.
yeah. So does it, when it changes it, does it like, you mentioned the core audience, does it resend it out to that core audience? Do you know? Or,
YouTube's pretty smart. They have like returning viewers and new viewers, and they know what
mhm.
is performing with who. And I kind of don't get too deep into that. I just there's a point for me where I can't control some of that, so I'm gonna move on to the next video.
Yeah.
And but if it flops, if it's like, hey, this video ranks 10 out of your last 10 videos, and it's like, oh, it's not tracking like a normal video, my audience is not interested in that angle, they think this video doesn't apply to them or is boring or whatever, then I'll kind of go into panic mode and fire up Photoshop and try some other ideas.
Yeah. Gotcha. Cool. Well, I was just curious about that. Because you're the, I've talked to other creators about, packaging and title and thumbnail and stuff, but you're the first one that I had actually like seen the change happen a bunch in one video. So I was just curious
Yeah.
about that. So moving on a little bit to more, I guess, directly your videos. Your storytelling is great. I love how your videos flow. And I was just curious. I don't know if this is a like a secret ingredient. Like I don't know if you're okay with sharing this, but how do you like come up with your stories and your flow and stuff like that? Do you have like a document like with ideas, or do you use AI to like help you generate ideas? I don't know.
Oh
How do
no.
you come up with your stories?
So what's funny is I had these cards, and whenever I'm, woodworking can be kind of boring. So when I'm doing something, I'll listen to music and my mind will wander, and I'll think of I don't know, a story. Or like today I got out of the shower and I've been really struggling with this video because that I'm working on, because I'm making two guitars. I tried to make four, and I pared it down to two. I'm like, let me just finish two. And I've never made any guitars, so I've the premise is I'm making a guitar from scratch for the first time. Oops, I accidentally made four. And at this point, I'm so deep into it, my perfectionism is ruining everything because I'm afraid to do anything because I'm afraid to mess it up.
Mm,
And a lot of it is because I have never done this before and I don't know what I don't know. And a lot of it is like, so I got out of the shower this morning and I was thinking of that scene in Indiana Jones where he's at the chasm and there's this invisible bridge and he can't see it, but he has to go and take a step. And then once he steps on it, the camera moves and you can see it's like an optical illusion. And so it's like,
mhm,
oh, I could probably talk for a few minutes about how if you're going to do something for the first time, don't try to make it perfect because you're just kind of going in blind, kind of like Indiana Jones. And so I wrote that down on this. So I'll have these thoughts and I'll just write them down on these cards.
mm,
And throughout the end of the project, I'll have a stack of cards. And so whenever I get like a rough cut from you, I'll put on some music and I'll watch it. And as I'm watching, I'll try to go, okay, which one of these cards can I play? You know? And then
mm,
usually now, what I used to do was I would just start typing. What I learned is that writing clarifies your thinking. And a lot of people on YouTube just talk extemporaneously, and that's fine. The problem is most people can listen faster than you can think. And so if you're talking at a speed like I'm talking now, it actually is a pretty boring video. You're going to lose. Like the pacing's bad, you're going to lose. And you could say the same word over and over again. And you're really not clear
mhm,
on what you're saying because you're just saying it. So writing helps you clarify, helps you avoid repeating yourself. It lets you set up things and then pay them off later. Um, Keeps you from saying So I used to type it out, but now what I do is I'll actually open. ChatGPT on my phone, and I'll just record a voice memo and brain dump it in there. And what I've done is I've taken enough of my final scripts and I've uploaded that to ChatGPT, and then I've taken screenshots of comments that people have made where things have resonated with them, and I've uploaded that to ChatGPT, and I've asked it
Mm.
over probably 6 videos, create a brand style guide for my videos based on my finished scripts that I've written and the feedback that I'm getting that is validating what I'm trying to do. And so it's learned like really well. At first, because I hadn't trained it, I was like, AI sucks. Well, I don't understand why people are afraid of this. But once I took the time to train it on this is how I talk, this is how I write, it'll now make Jason Bent jokes. It's like very sarcastic. So I can send a voice memo that's really rough of an idea, and then it'll refine it in a pace in my voice, and it'll make jokes. It's sarcastic, and it's like, oh, right. And I'll take that. I'll still tweak it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I do my voiceover, I'll use this mic and I'll actually record me reading my script so that I can keep the pace higher. And I just do that over and over and over and over again for like 2 weeks, which is, it sucks sometimes, but it ends up with like it's like I feel like I hope my videos are calorie dense, that there's like a lot of really good, thoughtful commentary. And that doesn't just happen. You got to put the work into for it.
Yeah. So you mentioned it sucks. So would you say that the script writing or the actual project itself is harder?
Oh man. Uh,
Probably depends on the project.
yeah. I think the script writing requires more of my brain. And so it's like sitting down at a computer and like focusing. Like the main thing I'm making is a video.
Mhm.
Like the project, that's just the excuse to make the video. That's kind of the canvas. But really what I'm trying to do is pass on some entertaining storytelling, some occasional like life lessons I can pass along, that when people are done watching, they feel good. Like when I eat, I don't do it anymore, but I used to like sit down and watch football and I'd open a bag of chips. And then within 30 minutes, I'd eaten the whole bag of like Lay's sour cream and onion. And it tasted good,
Mhm.
but I feel awful. Right.
Mhm.
And I don't want people watching my videos to feel awful. I want them to feel good. Like that was a feel good view. And the only way I know to do that is to give it everything I have and to be as thoughtful as possible. And that just takes a lot of brain power and a lot of
Mhm.
focus and a lot of like critical thinking. And is this good enough? Am I punting or am I giving my best effort? People can tell if you're not giving your best.
Yeah.
And I didn't always do that. Like a little more than 2.5 years ago, I would do a project like I'm doing now. Then I'd be tired and I'd do a couple of filler videos and they'd always tank. And
Mm.
one of my friends told me, he's like, dude, no more filler content. Like only publish when it's your best work. And it's okay if it takes 3 months, but only publish when it's your best. And what that will do is it'll train people. When you release a video, it's the best that you're able to do. And they won't want to miss it. But if you publish a video and then they look and it's like, oh, this was a lazy video, the next time you publish a video,
Mhm.
they don't know, was this a good video or is this a lazy video?
Yeah.
And so for 2 years, really going back to 2 summers ago, a little more than 2 years ago, I made this deal with myself is I'm only going to publish my best work. And if it takes 3 months or 2 months, that's fine, but only going to do. And it's like the compounding growth of that has been insane.
Yeah.
Because when I started that, my videos would get maybe 2,000 views in the first day. And maybe they would crash out at like 20,000 lifetime. Now my videos tend to get 20,000 in the first day. And the last 13 uploads I've done, During this experiment, the average view counts like 830,000 views.
Wow.
Like if you publish your best and only your best, and that's it, people will like they'll wait around,
Yeah.
and then when they
People
see your video,
recognize it.
they'll like jump on it. You know,
Hmm.
they'll stop what they're doing to like watch it. So
Yeah, I know at least for me, I'm that way with creators that I watch. Like some of them, some people have like a schedule and they post like every day at this time or whatever, but
yeah,
some of the creators I follow, they're more like you, where it's like they just publish a video when like it's finished. There's no set schedule, and
yeah,
those
when
ones
it's
I
ready.
typically enjoy the most. So,
Yeah,
because either more thought or more work was put into it.
for sure.
So I got one more question before we, I guess, change gears and go into like the advice and future of your channel. But um, a lot of the times in your videos, you joke about Stan in Iowa, who's like a hater, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
People who make certain types of comments, and I just was wondering, like, if you've ever gotten really crazy comments, or I guess what your general thought on the comment section of YouTube is.
The craziest one I got that I can remember was a guy. It was like certified hate speech. I forget exactly how he worded it, but the general gist was he was claiming that I was secretly gay, and then proceeded to tell me all the ways he was going to rape me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then he would leave several of these comments over and over, and he was like, and it's like 3 in the morning. These comments would come in, and it was just, I ended up having to like report him, be like, what, like this guy, like first of all, I'm married and have 3 kids, but like what I thought is like this guy's projecting himself on me, and he's the one who's secretly gay, and he wants to do all these things, and he's like he was just not well, and
Hmm.
that was just like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I typically don't. I will read the comments. I used to read every comment and respond to every comment, and they got to a point where one, the sheer volume I couldn't keep up with, but
Hmm.
it wasn't helpful for me to hear people's feedback on my creative endeavors, because I found myself either wanting to please people or constantly trying to defend myself, and it really robbed the joy out of it. And I would be, my kids would come up from school, and I wouldn't be mentally present because I'm thinking about some idiot who didn't like what I did or wants to fight
Yeah.
with me. And I'm like, I didn't get into this. I got into this to have freedom with my family. And if reading these comments is not making me free with my family, like why, like this, and I'm never going to meet this person. So I will read the comments for the first day or two, because those are like super fans. And I want to reward people with a response who have uh, watched the video when it first came out. But generally, after like a day or two, I just don't even like. There's hundreds of comments on every video that I've never seen, because I just don't go in. I don't
Hmm.
have the time, and I'm sure there's probably 80% of them are really great comments that deserve a response. But I would have to wade through those and come across comments that don't even deserve me to think about them.
Yeah.
And I'm not a strong enough human being to be able to read those and it not affect me.
Yeah.
So I've tried to just say, like, I'm going to be a creative artist. I'm going to share that with the world, and however people accept it, whether it's good or bad, that's on them. I don't care. I don't need people's praise, and I don't need people's criticism.
Yeah. I think that's smart. I think that's a good way to go about it. I do personally, I like the comment sections of videos. I guess it depends on the type of video. Like if it's an instructional video, the comment section is nice because sometimes people comment like, "Hey, don't forget to do this if you're doing this
Yeah,
because
for
it might
sure.
change the result or stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I guess for like in entertainment, type videos like your stuff, I could see how it could be, hard to take that criticism. I have seen some videos where they turn off the comments, and I think that is interesting. Because don't the comments have like some sort of, do they have any play in the algorithm from your experience?
Who knows? I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's some weight that it carries, but I don't think it's a heavy.
Mhm.
I think how long people watch a video is probably the biggest thing, you know?
Oh, so that just brought up an idea. I wonder if people tend to like watch part of a video and then scroll down and read some comments and then like go back up to the
Oh,
video
yeah.
and keep watching. So maybe that's how it can impact watch time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it could. And coming back to a video to like respond and all those things. But
mhm,
I don't,
yeah.
the internet can be a very toxic place. And I have friends who it doesn't bother them, but I'm not that strong. I want the approval of people. That's one of my, temptations. And so it's just better if I stay in the mode of I'm not looking for the approval or disapproval of anybody. I'm just
Mhm,
gonna make the best thing I can make, share it with the world. And, like my dad reads all the comments. And if there's like one that's really good, he'll pass it on. If there's ones that are bad, he'll report them. And then if there's something that like I need to know that, because the thing I am missing is there is good critical feedback, like it is helpful
mhm.
to know what does your audience want. And so, but the risk reward for me is it's not worth me risking my mental health to get that information at this point. Um,
Yeah.
what I'm doing is working, so I don't need to necessarily go and figure out any more stuff.
Yeah.
I hope AI will get to a point where I could just, hey, scan this and give me the best comments that I need to know. That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
That's probably in the near future, I would guess. Because
Oh, I'm
there's
sure.
already a summarized video button.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
which I don't know why anyone would ever use that unless it's instructional, but
There's a YouTube thing where it'll like summarize comments. So it'll be like these themes are present in the comment section. You can click on it. I don't
Mm,
see it on every video, but on some videos, and then it'll show you all of those comments that are that theme. That's kind of an interesting. Um,
that's cool.
one day.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to switch gears and move more into the advice portion of our episode. You've already given some great advice. Um, but this first question, actually, these two questions we ask all of our guests. So, this first one is about mistakes. Is there a mistake that you made throughout your YouTube journey that you've learned from that you wish you knew from the beginning?
Yeah, well, the biggest one I already talked about, which was not understanding packaging and not understanding that not all videos are created equal. And so what happens when you post a good video followed by like filler content, for the sake of.
Hmm.
But if I were to add another one in there, I think it would be it's really important that you're passionate about the video you're making.
Hmm.
I've done videos to do them because I thought they'd get a lot of views, but I hated making them. And they didn't perform well because you can just tell like my passion wasn't in it. I was doing it
Hmm.
to get views. And so I think in addition to understanding packaging and having kind of a policy for yourself that depending on your goals, but for my goals, I want consistent good growth is to develop a brand that's like I'm only putting my best out there. But to make sure that those videos that I am putting out there that I'm actually interested in making and
Hmm.
I'm passionate about making. Like this one right here is the guitar project. It's the hardest project I've ever done, and this is the hardest video I've ever made. But I've been wanting to make this video for like 2 years, so
Yeah.
like I'm passionate about it. I was up late till I think 10 in my workshop last night working on it. And I was in here at 7:30 this morning, and I'm going to work Saturday, but I'm passionate about it. Like, I want to do it. So yeah, I would say make videos you're passionate about.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you mentioned this earlier, but like the audience can perceive how much work is going into your videos, and they can also see that passion that you were talking about. So
For
I
sure.
completely agree. And this last question kind of goes hand in hand with that one, but is there any myths about YouTube that
Mm.
you'd like to bust? Anything, any misconceptions out there?
There's two that come to mind. The first one is that it's easy, and that it's like a get rich quick scheme. You know,
Hmm.
like, it took me 2 years before I could even like make a living on it, and that was working every day on it. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's a job. It's if you're doing this as a job. There's two ways of seeing YouTube: as a business and as a hobby. But if you're going to do it as a
Hmm.
job, and you're going to put certain expectations and you expect certain performance, at the end of the day, it's work. You know,
Hmm.
it's not coal mining and it's not cutting grass, but it's still work. It's not always easy. I mean, there's times where I've done something and a sponsor didn't like the video, and they were right. And I had said something wrong or did something wrong, and I have to go redo it. I have to go reshoot it. And it's like half a day, and I got to and that's
Mm,
not fun, but it's work. The other thing I would say is there are no such thing as like free. Like, in my world, a lot of people want free tools,
mhm,
but there are no free tools. Now, there's a lot of tools I didn't pay cash for, but I paid for them with my past performance. I paid for them with the audience I've earned. I've traded screen time for them, so, and sometimes that can be more valuable than cash because I could just buy a tool and there's no expectations.
mhm,
But if someone gives you a tool for exchange for something else, like, well, now your brand might take a hit, or what if, so there's, I think a lot of people think, oh, like, I've got a lot of quote free tools in my shop, but they weren't free. There was a lot of time spent negotiating. There's a contract. There's deliverables. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you're still working for things. So um,
mhm.
in other spaces, I don't know how that would translate, but yeah, a lot of people think, oh, you must get a bunch of free stuff, and I'm like, nothing I've gotten is free, man.
Yeah.
I've earned every bit of it, and sometimes it's easier. There are some times where it's easier for me just to go buy the thing than to email and talk, and it's like I've spent more time, which is more valuable than my money.
Mhm.
I could just go buy the thing. So sometimes the cheaper thing is to just buy it.
Yeah. Well, that is some great advice. I like how you said it's not coal mining, but it's still work. Um,
Yeah.
I really resonate with that. I enjoy my job as a video editor. Like I love doing it, but at the end of the day, it is still work. You
Yep.
know, stuff has to get done, and so with creators either creating a channel or creators who already have a channel, keep that in mind. Is it a hobby or are you wanting to do this as a job? So, thanks again, Drew, for
Mm.
being on the show. That's some great insights. So your channel is Wittworks. If our followers want to check you out anywhere else, where should they go?
That's it. I think Wittworks on YouTube is that's the big main magnet. Unless you want to buy something from me, you can go to wittworks.shop and then spend a lot of money to help pay for an editor.
Yeah, awesome. Sounds good. So make sure to check out that website as well, so I can keep working with Drew. And
Yeah, yeah.
and thanks again for our listeners and watchers for checking out this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. And if you need help with video editing, you can reach out to us at creatorlux.com. And we'll see you in the next one.